MotorWeek is made possible by TireRack.com and RockAuto.com.
Now, it doesn't always take 6 valves per cylinder to make a car more interesting. If you've got an engine with a turbocharger and an intercooler, that'll get you more horsepower too. Well, Isuzu has added both of those to their rear-drive Impulse Coupe, and it gives the car a lot more punch. And for this 4-wheel drive Trooper II, all Isuzu needed to do was add a few extra cubic inches. So let's take a look at both Isuzu updates.
First up, the increasingly versatile Trooper II 4-wheel drive wagon. There are a lot of things about this pickup truck-based model that make it the bargain of all-wheel drive squarebacks. Wheelbase and length are longer than any competitor, with the same interior volume as a Jeep Cherokee Wagoneer. And with a new deluxe 4-door, the Trooper II now matches all Jeep body styles. Add to that base prices of $9,800 to $12,500, and the Trooper II's popularity is sealed. It still has that unusual split rear door, which makes for easy access in small garages, but you also still can't leave the smaller door open for hauling long, narrow items. For a lot of people, one of the biggest drawbacks of the original Trooper II had nothing to do with versatility. It was just too plain. A new, better trimmed 2-door LS model now tries to address that problem. Outside, you can pick out the LS by its two-tone paint job. Silver beige is always the color of the lower half. And at the rear, a back glass wiper and defroster are standard. Inside, the seats are now covered in fabric that doesn't look like it came from a delivery van. And there's carpeting instead of a rubber mat. The back seat is still an option on all models, even the 4-door. But the original solid bench has been replaced by a split folding arrangement. The dash is now less Spartan, with well-placed controls. And we can't complain anymore about a lack of instrumentation. It's now very complete. Power also has edged up a notch since our first Trooper II test in 1984. The standard gas engine is 2.3 liters instead of 1.9. That means a 17% boost in horsepower to 96 and 22% more torque to 123. Even the optional 2.2-liter turbo diesel generates more torque than the first model's petrol power plant. You might recall that we found the original Trooper II lacking in available power for both on- and off-road duties. Now there's enough power for a 0 to 60 time of 15.8 seconds. And with good ground clearance and ample stone protection, there aren't many places you can't take a Trooper II. Thanks to the long wheelbase and independent front suspension, off-road ride is very good, as is a fine 36-foot rut-to-ravine turning diameter. Troopers are equipped with a 5-speed manual gearbox, replacing the former 4-speed. That's a big plus, but you still can't get an automatic. So sad, since many potential buyers will never learn to shift for themselves. Front hubs are auto-locking, and the part-time 2-speed 4-wheel drive transfer case is easy to engage. However, it cannot be shifted on the move, like all of its U.S.-made competition. But those are the only remaining limiting factors in the Trooper II popularity. With so many improvements in just 2 years, all but erasing our list of complaints on the first model, the Trooper II continues to trudge to ever higher ground. And if the plain Jane blues have been cured for the Trooper II, Isuzu's Impulse gets a refresher course on rock and roll. Maybe that should be rocket and roll, since the latest variant of this rear-drive Giugiaro-designed spaceship is turbocharged. The Impulse Turbo takes all of the original car's flights of fantasy and brings them to reality, thanks to a new 2-liter turbo-boosted 4-cylinder. It comes with all the trimmings: water-cooled turbine bearings, an air-to-air intercooler, single overhead cam, and multi-port fuel injection. Power ratings are 140 horses and 166 pound-feet of torque. That's 55% more horsepower and 14% more torque than the standard car's non-turbo motor. The result is satisfying. Acceleration runs of 9 seconds, third gear passing time of 3.5 seconds, and a quarter-mile run of 16.5 seconds at 80 miles per hour. With a normal boost of 7 psi, it's hard to tell that this is a turbocharged engine, since there's no telltale whine or kick as the added power jumps in. To keep its live axle in place under the added power, the Turbo Coupe gets a couple of extra suspension links, along with revised springs, shocks, and anti-sway bars. Even though a lot of the hardware came from the late and unlamented rear-drive iMark Econobox, the Impulse Turbo is a very respectable handler. It jumps into a curve with the most predictable increase in front-end plow as speeds climb. Body roll is moderate too, although more than we'd like. The steering, too, is quick in response, yet lacking in overall feel. Brakes, four-wheel ventilated disc, a highlight of the first Impulse, were carried over to the Turbo. Stops were straight with an average of 121 feet from 55. There was no fade, so our only complaint is the very high pedal pressure required as you approach full lock. That gave us a feeling of not being able to stop in time, although we always did. To denote the $14,794 Turbo from the base $10,299 Impulse, Isuzu used restraint so they wouldn't spoil the car's gorgeous, sleepy-eyed exterior. Besides small turbo badges and a front air dam, you can't tell them apart. All Impulse models now come with a rear spoiler. It's located at the bottom of the hatch. Inside, there's a leather option, turbo only, that nicely fits the 7-way adjustable seats. However, we would like more than just the very hard or none at all settings for the lower back support. With the leather seats, a way-out digital dash is included. It's easy to read, but shy of sporty readouts. We prefer the standard analog unit, but no boost gauge is offered on either setup. The Impulse continues with its 2 adjustable dash control pods, another oriental gimmick that you eventually appreciate. The Isuzu Impulse has always been a smart dresser, but now it's as much go as show. And like the Trooper II, an Isuzu that's accelerating its positive rate of change.